Here we go then, second final of the day, and it's George House who's going to lead us away. Alongside him is Austin Gibson, and it's Colby Patterson and Christian Kobe there on row number 2. Mason Brooks and Oliver Warner just behind them on row 3.
Row number 4 is Ronnie Carter and Harry Williams, then Alfie Davison and Joshua Cook, Henry Clark and Austin Newstead. That's your top 12.
Then it's Charlie Clough and Freddie Wood there on row number 7. Behind them, John T. Restrick and Mateo Garcia. The Mexican wonder kid there on 16th place. Then Daniel Ferguson and Jacob Nairn behind on row number 9.
Yep, and a big hello to everybody watching. Vamos, Mateo. Vamos, Mexico. And there is an Oliver Rowland Motorsport. 1, 2, 3, 4. Fifth on the grid for Fusion Motorsport is Mason Brooks. Then it's Argenti's Oliver Warner in P6. And All Fusion row 7 with Ronnie Carter and Harry Williams. They come into Wilkins. Out of the final corner. Into the tram lines. Lights are not out. Not out. We are not racing. They look very, very far apart there, I have to say. When I say the tram lines, I just noticed Shenington doesn't have any tram lines, which is, I don't think they do, so, but Shenington, Salt's tram lines here at Shenington. I wonder why that is. They've got the gearbox grids, but maybe it's just me being old and blind and not seeing them.
No, I think you're right.
Yes. Here we go. Vamos Mateo. Chancia a fondo. Vamos Mexico. Salvador Garcia Perez on the live chat. That's now, yeah, Herman Brooks. Better luck this time around, Mason. Well, Mason Brooks, he came from 13th to 5th, which is not bad. And he is on the inside row, so he's the third kart, Mason Brooks, the number 84. He's be on the inside going into turn number 1. Right, they come to the line. Now the lights are green. Now we're off and racing. And there's Brooks already diving to the inside. And he's picked up one place, but it is Austin Gibson, George House, rather, number 77 kart, the pole sitter, hanging on to the lead, but already the top 4 lockout from Oliver Rowland Motorsport is down to a top 3 lockout. I'm assuming that's Christian Kobe in the number 99 kart, who was trying to get some of those places back. Oh, there, and that was rear wheel to rear wheel going in there. Just the rotating rubber, giving each other a watching glance. Both drivers carrying on. Austin Newstead, obviously a penalty of some description at the end of the pre-final. He started quite a long way back in the BMR restart, number 74. But he's got Marvellous Marv mechanicking for him, so he's going to be making his way up to the front is Austin Newstead. Absolutely no doubt about it. So, at the end of lap number 1, George House, Colby Patterson 1-2, Brooks and Gibson 3 and 4. So the 2 championship leaders run 3rd and 4th. Then it's Ronnie Carter, Oliver Warner, Austin Newstead already up to 7th from 12th on the grid. Then it's Kobe, Davison, Clark, Williams, Clough, Wood, Cook, Wood, Garcia, Restrick, Nairn and Ferguson.
Indeed, yeah. I think Mason Brooks has been re-overtaken by Austin Gibson then.
Hello to Rodrigo Cabrera on the live chat as well. I mean, we had about 100 comments during the last Watersmith restricted final, and I didn't read out many of the names. I'm going to try my Spanish, my Portuguese, my Mexican is going to be working out there. So Rodrigo Cabrera, wishing Mateo Garcia good luck in the number 36 kart for Oliver Rowland Motorsport, but it's one of his teammates. Well, it's 3 of his teammates leading. House, Patterson and Gibson head the field in Watersmith restricted. Through turn 1 they go. That's Park Bend. Great shot there. Just the karts, it shows, how much speed they're carrying through the corners. Back of the field, you can see a good little battle there between Daniel Ferguson and Jacob Nairn, and that was Newstead picking up a place at the Stratford hairpin.
It was Oliver Warner getting forced out wide. I think Christian Kobe and Austin Newstead managed to slip through there down at the Stratford hairpin.
Mateo, number 36, got that Telmex sponsorship. There's another driver sponsored by Telmex who's racing somewhere else at the moment in Hungary, I believe.
Okay.
Never heard of him. No, I'm joking. Please, no spoilers. This is karting.
Please, no spoilers.
Keep the chat karting related. Some of us have got the VHS videotape in and are recording the race. There we go. Christian Kobe, new fast is that 50.05 for the Irishman, who is running in 6th position. But up at the front, and you can see now, Mason Brooks has tagged on to the lead trio. This is going to be a real test for young Mason. Well, they're all young. Mason is just 8 years old. He's got no one behind him at the moment close enough to push him. His teammate, Ronnie Carter, is 1 second behind him. So if things stay as they are for the next 12 minutes, and I'm not for one moment suggesting they are going to stay the same, Mason Brooks will have to somehow unpick a triple lock with Oliver Roller Motorsport on it. He's going to have to try and get past 3 teammates. Now, getting past the first one isn't going to be too much of a problem. But then when he's in the middle of that pack, that Oliver Rowland swarm, then the fun of games will begin. Austin Newstead up at the 6th position, John.
I know, and now his Fusion Motorsport teammate Ronnie Carter's dropped down to 7th. So we've got a couple of people now in between himself and someone who might actually want to help him. The driver behind him now, Christian Kobe, another Oliver Roland Motorsport kart. So he's absolutely surrounded by ORM karts, isn't he?
Yeah, yes, indeed. But, you know, this is where we say Austin Newstead, you could see, you know, an alliance born temporarily between Brooks and Newstead. But I think, you know, last year it was all Fusion drivers and then maybe 1 or 2 ORM drivers up at the front. This year, situation has been reversed.
Indeed, yeah. ORM seemingly dominating in this final so far, but they're all staying relatively close together, even though the gap has formed between the top 4 and the 2 behind. Really, these gaps only really maybe half a second to a second between these couple of packs. Not a huge amount of gaps, so they can't get back together. And of course, if these front 4 start battling, it's going to allow for a lot of drivers to close in and get involved with the battling as well. But still, over 10 minutes left to go in this race. No, also, of course, with the slipstreaming, 10 minutes left to go. The tactics really come into play. But as you said earlier, these kids are really young, 7, 8, 9 years of age. Like, it's really going to take it out of them. A 15-minute plus 1 lap final.
Well,
they're used to it now, and they're athletes. So I'm sure they'll be fine.
The kids are fine. It's you and I are the ones that would struggle 50 minutes. Well, some of us would struggle after about 3 minutes. You'll be all right, John. But there we go. Christian Kobe. Fast lap. Now watch when Kobe closes and catches Brooks. Kobe is going to try and pass Brooks straight away. Kobe coming into this next corner. He's been aggressive all day on the brakes. Watch Christian Kobe go for a move as soon as he comes. Brooks anticipates it and makes the move on, or tries to make the move on Gibson, side by side. Here comes Austin Newstead. Now Brooks has got a friend. He's got the Alliance. The BMR Fusion Alliance, temporary alliance. Now, it could start happening now because, the only way that Newstead and Brooks are going to make their way up past this trio of ORM cars is by working together. There's a perfect example. Brooks opens the door, Newstead stays on his rear bumper and helps him through.
Indeed, yeah. They are working together. I'm surprised. I didn't think you'd be correct, but forming an alliance as they now have 2 Ollie Ronan Motorsports in front, 2 Ollie Ronan Motorsports behind, and those 2 behind are still battling. Austin Gibson getting back through there on Christian Kobe, but it's still Christian has the fastest lap at the back of this train. And look, we've sort of split into 2 by 2 now, as all drivers are going to now start working together, try and close back up that group of 6 once again. As to be fair, I say that, the 2 behind are still going side by side.
And you saw Marv there, just sort of 16. So work, push, stay in a line, Nope. Oh, Kobe and
Austin Gibson.
Now they're going to race their way out of a chance of victory. Unless they start working together now, they're going to race their way out of a chance of victory. They've got and they're battling. Kobe now being repassed by Austin Gibson. But look at the gap that's developed between the top 4 and then 5th and 6th. Behind the top 6. Carter is 7th, Harry Williams is 8th, Alfie Davidson 9th, Oliver Warner rounds out the top 10. Had Charlie Clough, Henry Clark, Joshua Cook, Mateo Garcia, Freddie Wood, Daniel Ferguson, Jonty Restrick and Jacob Nairn.
There's a great battle forming between Warner, Clark and Cook, and Garcia's right there in behind. But this battle suddenly kicking off in the lead. Has that been a change to the lead? No, it hasn't. George House does get back in ahead. But as you said, they've closed back up once more into a group of 4. And I don't think it's going to be too long until we see Gibson and Kobe join as well.
At the start of this lap, Brooks and Newstead were 0.3 of a second behind the top 2. That one brief side-by-side moment between the 2 ORM drivers and Brooks and Newstead are now right with them.
Exactly, yeah. The slightest little mistake or a little bit of battling just helps the drivers close in because, of course, they are so close on pace. All drivers either in the high 49s or the low 50s on 1 lap pace, and they have indeed closed back in. Interesting to see how this one's going to play out because, of course, Is it Patterson who's taken the lead now? It's changed on our timing. We'll see when they come through the next shot. It is. And it is a move to the inside as well for second place. Mason Brooks goes for it. Through follows Austin Newstead. So now they've split the two Ollie Rowland Motorsport drivers, but Colby Patterson had already overtaken. He's now our leader of the race.
Yep, and so for the first time, Colby Patterson has the race lead. Now, in Colby's British karting career to date so far, he's in 2 second places and a third place finish. He was in another classic Lanagos. He was doing Micromax as well. He got on the podium there. He had a couple of podiums in Bambinos. His best result of the season in this class is a top 10 finish, a 10th place finish at Glenagos. New race leader, Mason Brooks. And Newstead goes with him.
Oh, the squabbling commences. And this is the first time in the race we haven't had an Ollie Rowland Motorsport 1-2.
Yes, so now the ORM team, now the teammates have to work together. So and they're side by side. And it's Howes now back in front of Patterson, with Kobe and Gibson way behind. So that alliance, the Fusion BMR alliance, which has worked perfectly for Austin Newstead. Don't forget, Austin Newstead started this race 12th. Mason Brooks started this race 5th. And now, alliance over.
Yes.
Game on.
Ooh.
And already, but look at that. Now that has put Brooks back under pressure. So Newstead has the lead. Austin Newstead. He's got 4 career British Championship wins. They all came in his title-winning Bambino season, which was back in 2021.
Oh, there might be Mateo Garcia's dropping down the order, and I can see some marshals running over to a driver who's off.
Ah, yes, there is a driver in the tyres. I can see a driver up and out of the cart.
Good.
And running away.
It is Mateo Garcia.
Oh, so the Mexican wonder kid there, Mateo, walking away, and that yellow flag's out. You can see the cart off at the side of the circuit, and he's been into the tyres and bounced back out, but he is okay. So Mexico. Yeah, you can see that the tyres are being dislodged, but Mateo Garcia is absolutely fine. I know his mum and dad are here in the paddock, but he's got lots and lots of fans back home, so better luck next time for Mateo Garcia.
Never nice to see someone crash out of the final, but yeah, glad to see that he's all okay, and we'll see him out for the next round soon enough. Oh, there's a move to the inside. Colby Patterson takes away third place from Mason Brooks. And I just want to say, in case Christian Kobe and Austin Gibson get involved in this battle again, I've noticed Christian Kobe does have a 5-second penalty already in this race.
Oh, right, okay, well spotted, well spotted. Now, with 4 minutes to go, let's see if we can bring up the live championship standings just while we are, before we get too involved in the final. So Austin Gibson, he's extended his championship lead over George House. Mason Brooks has dropped back. Mason Brooks is currently 4th, will be in a bad set of heats, so he's dropped back to 4th in the championship. Austin Newstead has made his way up to 3rd, but at the moment, Austin Gibson, as things stand, with Gibson 6th and George House 2nd, Gibson leads by 21 points in the championship. But of the top 5 in the championship are currently running they're all running in the top 6. In fact, they're the top 5. There's Mateo Garcia. Okay, great, very, very stylish crash helmet design there, watching the leaders go past. And
it's always the worst thing when you're out of a race and you can't get back to the pit, so you have to stand there and watch your fellow competitors continue to race.
Yes,
it's the worst feeling.
So Austin Newstead, George House. George House has never won a race at the British Championship. He's never stood on the podium. He's got a best career result of 4th in the season opener at PFI, but with less than 3 minutes to go, he now leads the Water Swift restricted final. Newstead looking for his first win since the end of 2021, whilst Patterson in 3rd position is looking also for his first career win.
I think Cafe Curve, I'm pretty sure early on in the lap, Colby Patterson went for a move for 3rd place, and maybe something happened between him and Mason Brooks. Mason Brooks has dropped off ever so slightly now, down into 6th place. Christian Kobe has got through. But they were having a good little battle earlier on in this one. It was all kicking off in behind them at this corner that they're now going into once more. And it's sort of formed out. They've got the 2 front runners, a little bit of a gap to the 24 of Colby Patterson, and then another further gap to the 3 carts of Mason Brooks, Austin Gibson, and then Christian Kobe there in 4th, 5th and 6th.
So Newstead sits and waits. Now side by side, Brooks trying to attack again. So of course Brooks is 6th on the road, but in reality he's 5th with Christian Kobe's 5-second penalty. Behind the leaders, Harry Williams, Alfie Davidson, Ronnie Carter are 7th, 8th and 9th. Charlie Clough rounds out the top 10 ahead of Joshua Cook. Then it is Oliver Warner, Daniel Ferguson, Freddie Wood, Jonty Restrick, Henry Clark, Jacob Nain. The last carts running. Austin Newstead just biding his time. He spent virtually the entire race pushing somebody along, slipstreaming with somebody. But now, with 1 minute 15 seconds plus a lap to go, he is going to have to. Now, there's been a problem here. You said Oliver Warner has dropped right back to 13th position, so the Argenti Motorsport kart is not having a great run of things in this race, but it's still House, Newstead, Patterson, Gibson. Here's Mason Brooks in 5th position, trying to, he still hasn't given up on pushing there, but we've got a 2-car breakaway. Patterson in 3rd position. You can see Colby Patterson just checking over his shoulder, trying, well, he can't help but fall back into the clutches. So Brooks and Gibson, the drivers running 1 and 2 in the championship. Well, they were running 1 and 2 coming into today. Brooks has slipped back to 3rd. They're now working together to try and close in on Colby Patterson. Well, they were working together. Now it's Brooks who takes the race lead. That's one of the race lead. Takes the position. Shut up, Henry. What am I talking about? There's the race lead, and there has been a change in the race lead.
That has changed. Austin Newstead is through, up into the lead past George House, and I think that will mean he's up 11 positions if the live timing is right in this final. That is absolutely ridiculous. As the time hits 0, we are going to see that final lap board as they come across the start-finish line, and it looks like it's going to be a 2-horse battle towards the end of this race. George House trying it around the outside into the first corner, has to sit in behind once more, and they're going to have that long run down to the Stratford hairpin. See if he can do anything under the brakes here. Getting a good exit. He's George House in behind, but was it good enough to pull alongside? No. Makes some defensive move, but he dives down at the last moment. Austin Newstead thought he had that covered off, but George House was still there and dived to the apex. But the up and under from Austin Newstead now sees him alongside as they go into the S's, and he's got it. Austin Newstead retakes the lead.
Very, very smart driving there from Austin Newstead. He gave George House enough room going into the corner. Now it's House's turn. Newstead's got to hold it. Could this be first win since 2021 for BMR Restarts Austin Newstead? Yes, it is. Newstead wins, House 2nd, Patterson 3rd. It's a first Water Swift restricted victory for BMR Restart. It's a career best result for George House, and it's another podium for Colby Patterson, and that's 3 rounds of the new Water Swift restricted class. 3 different winners, 3 different teams. Looking very rosy indeed, John.
Yeah, indeed. That shows you how interesting the championship when you're getting all these different winners from all these different teams. Super competitive. And I mean, we can see that from that final alone with how much the lead or even the top 6 was chopping and changing throughout that one. A very different race to the first final we saw, but still fantastic battling.
So again, ignore the graphics on your screen. So the winner, Austin Newstead. 2nd, George House. 3rd, Colby Patterson. Austin Gibson maintains his championship lead, finishing 4th, with Alfie Davidson rounding out the top 5 out of Harry Williams, Ronnie Carter, Charlie Clough. Christian Kobe eventually finishes 9th with Joshua Cook 10th. Now, on the last lap, there's a problem for Mason Brooks, who falls all the way back to 11th. Then it was Freddie Wood, followed by Daniel Ferguson, Oliver Warner, Henry Clark, Jonty Restrick, and Jacob Nain. As you can see there, the official in the orange are looking at them. There's Ben Moore, one of our scrutineering team, just looking over to make sure that the nose cones are, no one's got a dropped nose cone bracket. But that will help Austin Newstead put to 3rd position in the championship. Unofficially, George House is second, 23 points behind Austin Gibson.
I was just going to say, it was possibly a kerfuffle at the end there between Christian Kobe and Mason Brooks, because they both dropped down the order, and I saw right at the end there as they crossed the line, it came up saying that Christian Kobe was under investigation. So
Okay. So
maybe something to do with those two.
Well, there's Mason Brooks just taking his gloves out, throws them down into the seat of the number. They're parked next to each other. There's Mason's dad, pat on the head. All right, son, don't worry. It's better next time. You've got Herman's watching back home, so... takes the crash helmet off, heaves a sigh of relief. But you know what? That's all that matters. You know, at the end of the day, kiss from dad, and there's... that's all that matters. It's again, kid sport. But Lucy Derrick is going to be speaking to Austin Newstead, George House and Colby Patterson very shortly down in the pits. We watch the drivers that didn't finish on the podium get out of their karts. Here we go. Lucy, take it away.
Brilliant, thank you guys. What an interesting race that was. I'm joined with P1, Austin Newstead. How was that for you, mate?
Absolutely brilliant. It was probably one of the hardest races I've ever had. Obviously, I had a incident in the pre-final, not too good. So I had to start from finish pre-final 12th, so I had to start 12th in the final. So it was really hard.
Well, that was a brilliant result for you then. Did that go how you expected? Could you have you couldn't have hoped for anything better than that, really, could you?
No. Honestly, all I really wanted to get was top 4, but to come away with P1, it's just amazing.
Yeah, that's really helped you close the gap in the championship, hasn't it? Do you reckon you can hold still and close that gap even more at the next round?
Yeah, obviously it's not just about one round, it's all about the championship points. So hopefully I can get close and finish the championship on P1.
Well, fingers crossed for you. Is there anyone you'd like to thank at all?
I'd like to thank my dad, Ben BMR, for the team, Marvellous Marv for mechanicking, and Tom Gricey for the engines.
Brilliant, thank you very much. So I think somewhere we will have George House. Thank you very much, buddy. I think you might be needed for scrutineering now.
Thank you.
Cool, thank you. Hello, George. How was that?
It was very hard. It was a good race. I'm proud for getting second.
Yeah, it was a brilliant effort from you. So was that the result you were looking for? Could you have hoped for anything more than that? Were you looking for P1?
Yeah, I was looking for P1. I tried to put a move on him in the last lap, but it didn't work. Well, it did work, but then he got the exit.
Yeah, that happens sometimes, doesn't it? That's racing. Is there anyone you'd like to thank at all?
Yeah, my dad, my mum and my brother for all watching me, everyone on the telly that's watching me, and Eddie, my mechanic, and all of RM.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, mate. It was lovely to chat to you. And I believe somewhere we might have 3rd place, Colby Patterson. Hi, buddy. Hi. So, can you tell me about your race? Was there any highlights for you out there?
Well, the one highlight was I was fast, but not fast enough, clearly. When they dropped me, things went wrong a little bit when people started to gain, but I'd hold my own, and 3rd is a great position.
Yeah, it was a brilliant race. So it looked like it was going to be a really good result for the team then, but BMR kind of snuck their way in there a bit, didn't they?
Yeah. Towards the end, Newstead came through. It was got to the point where, geez, here it goes. Next. Nice. I have to go in, otherwise I'm not going to finish on the podium. So I did, and this is how I ended up.
Well, brilliant. You guys worked really hard as a team out there, especially at the beginning, so that's really good. Is there anyone you'd like to thank at all?
I'd like to thank my family for coming and supporting me every weekend, ORM for the amazing support and for being the greatest tent I ever know, and Grice for the brilliant engines.
Brilliant, thank you very much. I think we're going to go back up to the comms box now for Water Swift Inter.
Thank you, Lucy. Ladies and gentlemen, we now get the podium presentation underway for Water Swift Restricted here at Event 5 of the 2023 Wera Tours British Kart Championship. An excellent final, 1.4 seconds separating the top three. But finishing in third position, representing Oliver Roller Motorsport, officially the greatest tent he's ever known, it's Colby Patterson. This is Colby's second podium of the year in two different classes, and Oliver Roller Motorsport, not just one driver on the podium, two drivers on the podium, a career best result and a first Wera Tours British Championship podium for our next driver, runner-up George House. And George, I think, moves into the top three in the championship now, or thereabouts. But the beauty of this class, we've had 3 rounds, 3 different winners from 3 different teams. And taking their first win in a cadet class, it's BMR Restart, it's Austin Newstead and his winning mechanic, Marvellous Marv. This is Austin's 5th win in the British Championship, 4 wins in Bambino. His last win coming at the end of 2021, and now July 2023 he takes career win number 5. Right, gets his official photo. The camera having a nice shot of Mr. Newstead's back. Excellent. Ladies and gentlemen, your Water Swift Restricted podium. We'll have one with, we'll have an official photo with the winning driver and mechanic. Congratulations, your Water Swift Restricted winner, BMR Restart and Austin Newstead.